This is WWE Wrestling Legend Hall of Famer Tito Santana.
This is WWE NXT Superstar Lexis King.
And you are listening to the Source Wrestling Podcast. Arriba!
And you're listening to the Source Wrestling Podcast. Long live Lexis King.
You're looking at the best there
Austin
is.
316.
What do you guys want to talk about? I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest. I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
You will rest in peace.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. This is a big one. This is episode 40 of The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling Podcast with Joe
And
Mike.
Yeah.
And today we are going to talk to you. Let us talk to you
Let us talk to you.
about a little of this week in wrestling. We're going to talk a little bit about
do a whole week.
You know, a little bit about
Just gotta do a whole
each
week.
show.
We're busy guys. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Like, this is a busy week, so we're doing a whole week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're going all the way back to Smackdown.
Yes, sir.
5/17. I don't even need to look at it. I know 5/17
Yep.
because
We're
I
gonna take
worked
you
all
through
weekend and
that.
I remember it was the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th.
There you go.
So,
yeah.
we had Smackdown, a bunch of recaps in the beginning of Smackdown, that kind of stuff. But starts off with a great match. Bianca Belair versus
Yes.
Tiffany
Time.
It's Tiffy time, but it was not Tiffy time.
No,
we had the
not
Kiss of
on
Death
SmackDown.
flatliner
Yes.
for the 1-2-3.
KO'd her
Bianca
to
goes
back to
on.
Barbie
Yeah,
Land.
Bianca
you know?
moves on. You see her backstage with Jade Cargill, and there's a weird, like, they're champions, but they're like, yo,
Yeah.
like, we might be facing up.
Yeah,
kinda
because
stuff,
Cargill
blah, blah,
still
blah.
got her shot,
Yeah.
you know?
And, you know,
Yeah.
it seems that, you know, they're in line to have the tag team champions meet up in the
In the Queen of the Ring tournament,
We'll see
it
what
is,
happens.
it is
because
possible. But
later
she's got to
on
get through Nia
Later
Jax.
on in this show, we'll be covering that match as well.
Yeah.
Which is going to be like probably 3 minutes from now.
Literally.
Next, we have Tama Tonga versus our boy
L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was not a night.
Yeah, a bunch
for
of
LA
interference
Knight.
and shenanigans.
Took 3 guys to take down LA Knight.
made,
Man. Come on.
Tama Tonga hit his patent flatliner for the 1-2-3.
The MFT with the 1-2-3.
Exactly. Whatever that is.
Yeah, we
did
still
they
don't
define
know.
that yet? No,
No, we still don't know.
Yeah. Next, we have the match I was just talking about:
Uh-huh.
Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill.
Yes.
And I'm saying, and I've been saying, there's no way that Jade Cargill can live. Can live.
Well, I don't know. Nia Jax can kill
lose
her.
Yet. She's too new. They can't have
Yeah.
her lose. You got to give her this undestructible
So,
look. But
we
they-
thought
they
we were
did
going to
it.
see a match.
They did
we
it.
thought we were going to see a match.
With there was a disqualification. Jade Cargill ends up getting disqualified. They're
Yeah.
outside the ring, I remember, and there's
Yep,
some table
Nia grabs the
shenanigans,
chair.
and there's a chair.
Yep.
And that's it.
She tries to swing on Jade Cargill in front of her daughter, who's right there in the front row, and Jade grabs the chair, and she's like, well, I'm just going to hit you with it then. You were just about to hit me with it. She hits her with it, ref calls for the bell, and Nia moves on, the Queen of the Ring tournament. Jade kind of screwed herself here.
Yep, and big DQ there.
Oh, yeah.
And I was saying to you that it seemed like the first round of the King of the Ring was very clean.
It was.
And
It was
now
a
this
gentleman's
second
round.
or
It's dirty.
Second
It's dirty
round. I
now.
don't even know if we're in the second round for these matches or not.
I know.
But it's like one episode we were seeing a different thing. It's like they're like, oh, we got to make this dirty
yeah.
if we're going to have certain people go over in this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
100%. 100%.
makes sense. That sets up. I'm pretty sure that sets up Bianca Belair and Nia Jax. Now,
It is.
Right?
It is. Yep. And if Bianca Belair wins, then she's won just about everything, man. Literally, this is probably the only thing left for
but that
her.
just sets up the final match for before it, right? Because it's going to be a Raw versus SmackDown for the.
True.
Yeah,
Yes. So, but she will make it to the final.
That's
you know?
correct. That's correct.
That's amazing.
Now, next we have DIY, who we're on the fence about. I think.
yeah, DIY could be doing other things,
Yeah.
but here they are. Here they are.
DIY needs to do other things.
Right.
But yeah,
They're defeating Legado del Fantasma.
They were pumping Ciampa up like as a singles competitor.
Yeah.
He got
He
that
used to
shot
be
at-
the Sicilian psychopath, Tommaso Ciampa,
Yeah.
in NXT, and he was an NXT champion.
Yeah,
He's
but,
watered down right now.
Yeah, they
Don't like it.
They got him. They beat him with the old meat in the middle, which is kind of
Yes.
like a double super kick right to the
Yeah,
face.
it's kind of like the EVP trigger that the
yeah.
Young Bucks do.
Yeah,
very
there's a lot
similar.
of copycat stuff going on between the two brands right now. It's for damn
Oh yeah,
sure.
and that'll never end.
Yeah.
That'll never end.
Next up, we have Randy Orton
Oh, the Viper versus
defeating
him.
Carmelo Hayes.
He did, but I'll tell you,
it was
Carmelo
an out of
Hayes-
nowhere RKO that got
It
it.
was.
Too.
It
The
yeah.
announcers go out of nowhere.
Carmelo
So-
Hayes went for a springboard type deal, and Randy just drops him with the RKO, which they did have an amazing match. Carmelo, you can tell they have a lot of faith in him. He's going up against top guys, Cody, you know what I mean? And now in this match with Randy, they have a lot of faith in him. They're saying he's next, but
He's getting a weird response from the fans.
yeah,
Kind of mixed. They don't know
yeah,
how to take
it's a
him
little
yet.
mixed,
Kinda.
yeah,
Like,
right.
He ended as a heel
he did
in NXT, and
Yep.
I feel like he's coming in
His
with a
rivalry
sort of
with Trick,
cocky
yeah.
attitude. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I like that character. I really like it. I
Yeah.
think it's working for him. So Randy Orton moves on now.
Yeah.
And
Next up, we got Collision.
we
We're
do
gonna-
have a quick collision talk that we're going to have.
And that would be 5/18.
Yes.
2024.
Yeah, we have a lot of implications here that are leading up to Double or Nothing. We start off with Shane Taylor of Shane Taylor Promotions versus the aerial assassin Will Ospreay, and Ospreay wins this match with the Stormbreaker. This match was, in my opinion, 5 out of 5. This guy Shane Taylor, I didn't know much about him until I started seeing him on AEW. He came from Ring of Honor, and for his size, that guy's a big boy. He can move and have a great match with Will Ospreay. After this, it is the return of Hook. He's finally back in action. He's going up against Johnny TV, formerly Johnny Nitro, John Morrison of WWE. Hook gets the win here with the Red Rum submission. I don't think anybody has gotten out of that. I could be wrong,
It's a
but
good name for a move, too.
the Red Rum. Yeah,
It fits him.
it works perfect for
Hook-
him and his character.
Well, he calls himself Hook, and with the finisher, like, I didn't know if that was just kind of like if he was like Hook. Like, when you think Hook, it's kind of Peter Panish.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
what I
Hook.
think it is-
But listen,
Yeah.
hold that thought, because now you're telling me that Red Rum's kind of like
It's murder backwards.
yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
like a Shining thing, right?
Yeah, I would say.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
The thing with Hook is his dad, obviously Taz, was from the Red Hook section of New York. They used to bill him as being from the Red Hook section, so he's Hook, and he's got the 780 on. I think it's 780. It's the area code of that part of New York or whatever. He's got it on his tights, on his boots. I think that's what Hook means. But it's not confirmed as far as I know.
I mean, that makes sense to me. I think you cracked the code.
I think
but-
it's an homage to his father.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Up next, we had Katsuyori Sabata, the quote unquote the wrestler. That's what he's being called right now. Couldn't be any more generic than that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, versus Rocky Romero with Shibata winning here.
Been hearing a lot of Rocky Romero.
A lot of Rocky Romero. They're getting him back on the bigger shows now.
What a
Maybe
name.
he
I
had an
just feel like
injury.
it's a name I've heard before.
Yeah, Rocky Romero. It does sound like somebody that you used to know, maybe. Shibata wins, diving heel hook submission. And up next, it is the bounty hunter, Brian Keith, versus Boulder. And the bounty hunter finally gets a much-needed win here with the Diamond Dust. The bounty hunter, Brian Keith, I like this guy. He's a different type of character. The guy can go in the ring for sure. Up next, we have Cassidy versus
boy,
Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy.
We have freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy versus
He's
Isaiah
pretty
Cassidy.
freshly squeezed.
Freshly squeezed.
Yeah, but the other Cassidy's got a K, and
Yes,
Orange
the other
Cassidy's
one's got a C.
So let's
Yes.
get it straight.
Yep. So it's
okay?
freshly squeezed versus the Private Party, and Orange Cassidy gets the win here with the beach break. He's still rolling. He can do no wrong whether he's a champion or not. It's always good seeing Orange Cassidy in the ring. And now we have the Professor, Serena Deeb, versus Anna Jay, who I'm really liking lately. Serena Deeb wins this match with a single leg Boston Crab, and she's gaining more momentum into going against Timeless Tony Storm for the title at Double or Nothing, which is Sunday night, which I think Timeless Tony Storm will retain the title. I don't see Serena Deeb being the one. Up next, it is the good boy. It's Christian's son, Nick Wayne, versus Jack Cartwheel. I don't know who Jack Cartwheel is, but anywho, it's Nick Wayne getting the win here. Maybe he was an enhancement talent I'm not sure.
It's possible.
We now have Bryan Danielson and FTR in this awesome main event match.
Main eventer.
Yes, versus Lance Archer and the Righteous. And it was a hell of a match. I will say that these wrestlers have very good chemistry. They've all worked together on the independent scenes. It was the American Dragon and the Top Guys, the Living Legends, FTR,
Top Guys.
with the win. And
Don't you forget it.
Thanks to the Top Guys Shatter Machine, they get the win here. And I
Yeah.
think Collision was really good. It's building momentum towards Double or Nothing, which is this Sunday. We still have to get through Dynamite, which I heard was absolute dynamite. But before that, we will move on to a little bit of Monday Night Raw talk
We're
now.
moving on to Monday
Keep
Night
moving on.
Raw,
On
which just
the
feels
road
like
again.
yesterday because it was a few days ago.
Yes.
But we're now talking about 5:20. I'm great at my dates today. I'm
Yes.
not even looking.
He's on point.
5:20. I'm
On
confident
point.
on it. Was Monday Night Raw. We start off
Yeah.
with Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable
Oh
in a
my
non-title
God.
match.
Can I just note
You can.
that there was a sign in the crowd that said Perk Gable? Did anyone notice that sign? Because people like to talk about Angle and Gable, you know, the similarities. And when Kurt Angle was in TNA, that was his Perk Angle era because he was all high on perks, and he's taking these crazy bumps and just doing amazing moves that he normally couldn't do. So somebody was holding up a sign that said Perk Gable, and I really appreciated that. So shout out to whoever held that
Maybe
sign
he's
up.
going through the same thing.
Yeah, and believe it or not, Gable gets the pinfall with the Chaos Theory,
Damn
but
right he
thanks to his number one guy.
So let's just bring it back a little bit. In this match, you saw, Gable have a moment where he had the ref distracted.
Yes.
Maxine wouldn't help out. She was too
wouldn't do
honest.
it. Yeah.
Tozawa wouldn't.
He's too skittish. He's too
wouldn't
scared.
do it. He wouldn't help out. And then Otis also didn't help him out at one point.
No, he was very torn, and I
But
really
then
like what they're doing
It was
here.
actually, I remember it like it was yesterday. Sami Zayn went to the corner for a haluva kick, a
He
perfect
did.
setup
He did.
for Gable. He was definitely going to land it
he was
on
down
him.
and out.
And Otis held his leg in the corner, and it was
that did it, and it was the
he was
Chaos
able
Theory
to do the
after
Chaos
that.
Theory, the big
That's that
suplex,
stalling
yeah.
German suplex that
Great
looks
move,
absolutely
great move.
devastating.
For
Yeah.
that 1-2 thrizzle.
Yep, gets the whistle. And up next, it's Braun Breaker versus NXT superstar or lack of in this match, KO Dixon.
Yeah, so
my
you're seeing.
God,
No, I was just saying how WWE doesn't have jobbers.
there's one.
But what's going
There's
on?
one. He's an NXT level up guy.
Yeah.
who they just put out there in front of Braun Breaker.
Yeah, and the match was
Oh,
called
man.
off because the guy couldn't compete anymore. Braun Breaker was just beating
It was
him
that
senselessly.
bad. Yes.
It started off with Braun just coming out of the corner with the spear,
Spear after
and then
spear.
continuing to bring the guy outside,
Yeah.
and just beat the snot out of him, and saying
More than that, he
uttering
grabbed
that he
the
was
stairs.
mad because he wasn't in the
He's
King
not
of
in
the
the King
Ring,
of the Ring tournament,
and blah blah blah.
And
yeah.
he goes, "This is what you put me up against. You put me up
Yeah.
against this kid."
He was backstage causing a ruckus too
He
later
was.
on.
He was. And they're kind of booking him like Goldberg right now, which is scaring me. But if they have a good end result to this, I'm here for it. I like Braun. He is a badass.
They're booking him like Lesnar. They're booking
Yeah,
him like
the next
Goldberg.
big thing.
They're booking
Brock
him like
Lesnar.
any monster, the Big Show, any monster you've seen come in and be
100%.
but he's not as big as them.
No, he's
And
not. But
He's got a lot of
he's got
ferocity.
the moves.
And
He's
got
ferocious.
All that
yes.
you're talking about, but he acts bigger than he is.
He does. I think he does. And that
I'm gonna
could
be real with you guys.
That could
out
be
there.
his
I
downfall.
love Braun Breaker.
He's great.
I think they should
great.
soften him. If anything,
Yeah.
I think he did his best stuff when he was
Pull it
tagged
back with the
when he
Wolf
was-
Dogs,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Wolf Dogs, man.
Exactly.
You got Baron Corbin.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back.
He's called
Yeah.
up. You know what I
Might as
mean?
well bring them back together
Make it
for a
happen.
tag team run and
Yeah,
build them that way.
I'd be cool with them taking the titles off of Awesome Truth.
Way too early
you know?
for Braun Breaker to be doing anything but
Yeah,
getting the
this is
tag
like
titles.
this kind of reminds me of another Ryback situation, and I don't want it to end that
Yeah,
way
I
for
really
Braun Breaker.
don't. But Ryback's a psycho. So
Yeah, I know.
if you're listening out there, Ryback, chill.
Yeah, man, chill.
Yeah, but next we have Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky.
Yes, and that is a Queen of the Ring tournament
Mm-hmm.
match. And can I just say that this match got the most TV time this week? I think they had about 18 minutes, and they showed out. Io Sky looks great without Asuka by her side.
I don't know if you're noticing, but without Asuka in the fold,
I'm
liking Damage Control.
Yeah, Asuka's just too cringe. I think that's what it is. She needs to go back to her old ways.
She needs to go to AEW. I'm telling you,
Or she
she'd
can
be
go
a
there
star
and
over
say,
there.
yeah.
She would, and they need women.
They do
in that league,
and
they
she's
do.
seasoned. She's solid in the ring.
They should bring her over. They really
for
should.
sure. Lyra Valkyria wins this match. I could not believe it. She actually wins this match. She's going to the finals in the Queen of the Ring tournament.
Now,
so shout out to her.
She's going to go against. We don't know yet.
I don't know. Yeah, it has not been determined yet at this point.
Hold on. There's another match. Another match. I think that happened. No,
what do we
is
got?
There no other second? No. I was thinking maybe there was another match on Raw that was
to determine that. No, we just had another women's match later with Damage Control and Maxine and Ivy Nile, so on and so forth. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, yeah.
Lyra gets the win.
Yeah,
she rolls her up, pinning her down for the 3, and now she's moving on. Up next, though, it's a tag team title match, guys, and you're nervous. And before we go through this match, backstage, I really want to talk about this. Backstage, Miz is kind of stressing. He's like, Truth, what are we going to do, man? The Judgment Day does not run alone. They don't run solo. And Truth is like, Miz, I got it all figured out, man. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I talked to Andre the Giant, my brother. He goes, we're good. He's going to have our back tonight. And Miz is like, dude, Truth, I don't know if you know this, but, Andre the Giant kind of passed away
30 years ago.
And he's like, passed away. He's like, man, I just passed him in catering or something like that.
He's like, just trust me.
Trust me, man. He's got our back tonight. So that sets it up. It's the World Tag Team Championship match. It's Awesome Truth versus the Judgment Day. And our Truth wasn't lying. He had a giant. But sadly, it is not Andre.
I mean, best runner-up right now.
Absolutely, yeah. The monster of all monsters.
I haven't really viewed it that way, but I'm starting to view it this way, whereas, like, we're missing, like, having an Andre the Giant or having a Paul White.
Yes, we need an attraction like that.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Braun Strowman is that guy.
He is that guy right now, for sure. You need an attraction, and he is an attraction, 100%. So happy to see him back and healthy.
I can't wait to see where he falls into the fold.
Absolutely, yeah. He's just getting his feet wet in a couple storylines right now. I think they're testing him out. Andre the Giant or Braun Strowman comes through, helps them retain the championships against the Judgment Day. And after this is the one we just mentioned as well. It's a 4-way women's tag title contenders match. It is Damage Control members Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus Maxine Ivy Nile versus Kaden and Katana. And this is a women's 4-way match. We haven't seen something like this in a while.
No.
It's a little fresh. Excuse me there. Baszler and Stark double team tossed into a knee. They get the win. So I would assume they're in the hunt for the women's tag team championships.
That's
Is that right?
It's going to be Baszler and Stark. So obviously it's going to be a snack for Cargill and Bianca Belair.
Yeah, they're just chomping at the bits.
Do they split the women's titles now, or do the women do they have a show?
No,
how does that work?
I think that there's only one women's tag team championship, and I think it's whatever show they're on is what you get. Is what I'm seeing lately.
And they're both on SmackDown.
They're both on SmackDown. So that's
Bianca
where those
was the
titles.
#1 pick or whatever.
Yeah, she was #1 overall, and obviously Jade got drafted there as well. So #1 contendership won by Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, which like Mike just said, I think they're gonna get put down by Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. You know what I mean?
Baszler and Stark haven't been going anywhere for a while.
No,
they're good filler
they're
thing,
trying it. Yeah, they're good. Someone's got to lay down for the 3 count.
That might even be a match you see on like Raw or SmackDown. It's not going to be like a pay-per-view type fight.
Absolutely. And now, though, this is the one we all waited on. We knew this was going to be a banger. This is a main event King of the Ring tournament match. It is main event Jey Uso. Main event in the main event versus the Ring General Gunther. Now, could he be the king of the Ring General? Is what it could be.
Could he?
Gunther wins here, which I had happening. Poor Jey Uso. But not everybody can beat the Ring General Gunther. Gunther wins by ref stoppage. He didn't tap out. He pass Jey Uso out after a valiant effort. I will say that. Jey Uso took it to the ring general. There were a couple of times where I was like, ooh, I don't know.
I really,
He
wanted
took it to
Jey
him.
Uso to win this match. I really don't like how they're making him lose so much.
I know. You can't be main event Jey Uso and lose every main event. They might as well call him mid-card Jey Uso.
He's lost 5 world title
That's
matches.
crazy.
It's
that
crazy
is
what
wild.
they're doing to him, but there must be a reward at some point.
There's got to be. Yeah. I mean, but how long have we been saying that about LA Knight? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we better be seeing that soon.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Honestly,
we'll get to that.
yeah. But that's crazy. Gunther wins by ref stoppage.
He does,
Jey
and he's
Uso
using
passed
that
out.
submission that's been, bringing him all the glory and the gravy since losing the Intercontinental Championship. So, yeah, that's our thoughts on Monday Night Raw, guys, and very solid episode. King of the Ring is this Saturday, 1 p.m. our time. That's Eastern Standard Time in the U.S., and I'm just excited for it, man. I really am.
It's going to be great. Next up, we have NXT, which is 5/21/2024.
Yeah.
We start off with a banger, a big rivalry that's been
banger
going
after banger.
Yeah, been going on for a little bit now. We have Fallon Henley finally facing off against Thea Hale in a North American Championship qualifier match.
Let's go.
But Fallon Henley got the win with the Shining Wizard, which is a pretty cool move she does.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's
Yeah,
like a
and-
big kick or a knee strike. It's really, really
And
cool.
now that she's doing her, as she says, she's not caring about anybody else, and she's kind of been doing her own thing.
I'm doing me.
She's getting
Yep.
W's. So hopefully it works out for her.
100%. I think it will. If she wins, on that stage, then it could really work out.
Next up, we have Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus The Family.
The
Channing
Family.
Lorenzo and Luca Cristofino.
Yes.
It was Frazier and Axiom with a small package roll up for a win. Well, small package driver for a win. They
Yes.
said.
Yeah. Devastating move, too.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see Channing and Luca get the titles, because the Dawn right now has the Heritage.
He's got
Cup,
the Heritage Cup, yes.
which was orchestrated beautifully by him, stealing the teammates of what's his name's son.
Charlie Dempsey?
Yeah, Charlie
yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Yeah, stealing his teammates like in mob style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hey, the family's got to do what the family's got to do.
Getting the Heritage Cup.
You're
that
only
way
as
was
good
pretty
as your
cool.
last
Cool
envelope.
and clever, I'd say. Cool and clever.
Absolutely.
But next up, we have a 3-way match. Joe Coffey steps in for the Viking Raider.
Ivar, who is sidelined right now with an injury. We wish him well.
Against
he's
Josh
a
Briggs.
he's a New Englander, just like us, by the way.
Sick.
Yes.
Versus Josh Briggs and versus Wes Lee for a shot at Oba Femi's title. Oba Femi's ringside, sitting there.
Let's go.
Enjoying the match.
Yep. Scouting the competition.
But it actually ended up being Wesley and Coffey had a
No
double
way.
pinfall on Briggs. There was a big exhausted moment, you know what I mean? Where
Yeah,
they both fall
They're beat.
on they both fall on Briggs and get the 1-2-3.
That's awesome.
And they both move on to do a 3-way match now against Oba Femi.
Let's get it.
So that's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Jada Parker versus Brindley Reese for a North American Championship qualifier match.
Ooh, let's go.
Jada Parker with the teardrop hip check. I've been talking about this hip check. She's got this. I've never
It's
seen a
working.
hip check as a special move.
finish. Yeah, right.
And she's doing it, and she's doing it with style.
gotta keep it fresh.
She gets the 1-2-3 on the hip check. It's good stuff.
You got to keep it fresh with the finishes, man. You
no,
can't do DDTs all the time.
Now, Joe's going to be really sad about this one.
I am.
Lexus
I don't like
King
it.
versus Dante Chen.
Yes.
Dante Chen wins the match
Unacceptable.
via a roll-up pin in a counter to the coronation. Dante Chen is just a
Unbelievable.
level-up call-up. Young guys.
That
That's
kinda
an
reminds
interesting
me
head
of, like-
scratcher there. You almost feel like it was a Lexus King versus Jobber match where he easily gets
Yeah.
the win.
I was just
but
gonna say.
instead, he loses.
It reminds me of Razor Ramon versus the 1-2-3 Kid or the Lightning Kid at the time on that early episode of Monday Night Raw, where obviously everyone thought Razor's taking this guy to town, you know, and it didn't end up that way.
right.
Lightning Kid turned into the 1-2-3 Kid at that time, and I feel like that's what happened with Dante Chen versus Lexus King.
It's possible. Next up, we have Shayna Baszler, who's on
She's busy.
multiple shows.
She's busy.
And Lola Vice versus Natalia and Carmen Petrovic. Obviously, they got the big 4-way feud going on
Yes.
right now, tag team feud, which looks like it's coming to a head at this match. This should be the end of the rivalry. And it's Natalia and Carmen Petrovic.
The veteran natty.
And Petrovic hits the heart attack for the 1-2-3 on
Nice.
this one. But this sets up after the match Baszler and Lola. Baszler goes to help up Lola, and Lola actually turns on Baszler with a roundhouse kick, and then they start brawling till the show fades out. So now we have them being announced to be taking off, going against each other at the next NXT pay-per-view in a one of those dark match type things. No, not a dark match. I'm sorry. It's a it's where they take the ring ropes off, and it's like all.
Oh, it's like MMA style. Yeah, there's a
yeah.
name for it. It escapes me right now, guys. We apologize. It's like an MMA rules type matchup. I think Ronda Rousey has had one of those with Shayna, and it was pretty entertaining. Wow. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, and then we're up for AEW Dynamite if you want to take it, Joe.
Yeah, man. Last night's episode of AEW Dynamite was awesome. It is the go-home show. The go-home show for Double or Nothing, which is this weekend on Sunday. And we start out with a banger tag team match and a team that I never thought that we would see. It's Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay as a tag team versus Roderick Strong and Trent Beretta. We had some dirty deeds done in this match. The Undisputed Kingdom was out there getting involved. Obviously, Roderick Strong's part of the match. He doesn't come alone. And thanks to the Undisputed Kingdom, with a little bit of interference, Roderick Strong hits the end of Heartache, gets the win here, and leaves Ospreay bleeding, a bloody mess. He's busted open. It's not looking good for Will Ospreay, but you know that the aerial assassin will overcome and rise to the occasion this Sunday at Double or Nothing. And I think he's taking the title home, Mike. I really do. I think Roderick Strong's time as international champion is over. We're just going to say that. Up next, we have Bounty Hunter Brian Keith.
I think that's accurate, and I think the whole, faction that they were doing and stuff is not really a thing anymore.
No,
right? Or what's going on with it?
They're always traveling together. They're always out there together. But Adam Cole's still not around. Bay, you know what I mean? So it's kind of fizzling out. Wardlow hasn't been used. I feel, you know what I mean? He's just been in the background doing nothing, just like the other two guys. You know, I don't know. I don't see it going anywhere.
They were supposed to be making this huge statement.
They
right?
were. Yep. The whole devil storyline, and now this is it. You know, Roderick Strong's the best thing they got right now. And I say he's dropping the title to Will Ospreay at Double or Nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's final.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And that's all The Rock's got to say about that.
I'd say that's obvious, yeah.
Yeah. Up next, though, it's Bounty Hunter Brian Keith versus Katsuyori Shibata versus Hook in an FTW number one contendership match. It's the winner of this match is number one contender for Jericho's FTW championship, which Hook is looking to regain. And it's funny that this happened because, like you just said on NXT, there was a double winner in one of those matches. This one now has Hook and Shibata winning by a double submission. And now they are both the number one contender for Jericho's FTW title, and Jericho accepts this challenge. So we're going to have a triple threat match for that title. Up next, it's Konosuke Takeshita versus Matt Sydal, formerly Evan Bourne of the WWE. For those who don't know, Takeshita looks strong here. He comes out with a win via the elbow strike, makes quick work of Matt Sydal, and Jon Moxley then comes out and drops Takeshita right on his ass, and that's leading up to their match at Double or Nothing, the Eliminator match. And Moxley's looking strong, Takeshita's looking strong. That's going to be a sleeper match. That's going to be a sneaky good match. Up next, though, guys, we have Nick Wayne versus the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Swerve Strickland. Swerve gets by Nick Wayne, obviously, here, and wins the match with the house call. After this, you know, the patriarchy get involved. Christian's running away from Swerve, gets in a car, tries to take off, and then Prince Nana returns in the parking lot to stop him. He blocks him off. They're both attacking Christian now on the top of this car. It was really cool. Prince Nana is back and obviously on the side of Swerve Strickland, our AEW World Champion, who will be facing Christian Cage at Double or Nothing for the championship. And while we're on the subject, we can just say I think that Swerve's going to retain the title. What do you think, Mike?
I think that's fact.
Yeah, I think it's a whole fact. After this, though, was a sneaky good match. Another one of these. It was Kyle O'Reilly versus Malachi Black of the House of Black. And Black gets the win here with the end. I would say this was a 4-star match. These guys were really good in the ring. I don't know if they wrestled before. It seemed like they had a lot of chemistry in there and made Malachi look great going into his barbed wire steel cage match at Double or Nothing with Adam Copeland. And speaking of that, after this match, Malachi Black is in the middle of the ring. He got his hand raised. You know, he's happy about what he just did to Kyle O'Reilly. And then Adam Copeland shows up looking all scary on the Titantron. He's like, you know what, Malachi, you wanted me to go to a dark place. We're going to go to a dark place right now. And it's a bloodbath. Like the Brood days, it's a bloodbath to Malachi Black. He is covered in blood or substance, whatever they dropped from the ceiling. It was a ton of it. We have not seen this in a while. Are we seeing another Brood Edge or Brood Adam Copeland
It'd be
right
pretty
now?
sick to see.
Yeah.
I don't think they can do it, though.
No,
Copyrights.
you can't use that name, but we all know what it is. The bloodbath is a brood bath. We all know that.
Yeah.
So he does that to Malachi to plays more mind games with him going into Double or Nothing. There's once again their steel cage, barbed wire steel cage match, which I'm really looking forward to. Up next, it is Mariah May and our women's champion, Timeless Toni Storm, versus the Outcasts, which are now it's the new Outcasts, which are now Harley Cameron and Saraya. I gotta say, Harley Cameron is growing on me. They've had her in the ring a lot, and she's looking good. It's Mariah May and Toni Storm, though, picking up the win with a Storm Zero from Storm to Harley Cameron. And she also hit one on Saraya as well, which is shocking because Saraya had the neck issue. She had surgery, broke the neck. And she's taking pile drivers in AEW. So at least she's doing something right now. I will say that.
Yeah, it's nice to see something being done with her.
Absolutely. Another laydown to Timeless, Toni Storm. And now the main event match of the night, guys. It's American Dragon, Bryan Danielson versus Satnam Singh, the 7'5" monster who is being brought now to face the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. And this match was just a setup, guys. Danielson tried to stay in this thing. It ended up being too much with the EVPs getting involved. It was all a trap for Bryan Danielson, and there's no one there to help. Eddie Kingston is hurt. He's out with the torn whatever or the broken leg, whatever it is. He's out, and they're just pummeling Danielson. And out of nowhere, we get a view of the Tron, the big screen, and it's an SUV pulling up. We don't know who it is. The door opens, and and Darby is banned from the arena. The Young Bucks were handing out papers, to security. This guy is banned. He is not to be here. So this SUV pulls up, holding Darby Allin. He comes out of it with a fucking flamethrower, which I've never seen in professional wrestling, I don't think.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, pretty intense. And then as he's about to, walk to the arena where Danielson's getting beat up right now, he goes to the driver's front door, and the window rolls down, and it's Tony Khan. He's back. He's the one who took Darby to the arena with the flamethrower like a good dad. Here, go play with your new toy, son. So he fist bumps him. Darby comes out with a flamethrower. He starts setting it off everywhere. There are tables set up on the side of the stage, which the EVPs end up through one of those, and Dynamite goes out with a bang. This was the perfect way.
Of fire,
yes, if you will. This was the perfect way to end it.
Does he ever use the flamethrower, or is he just kind of waving
He
it around?
comes out with it, waves it around, gets it a little close to the EVPs. Obviously, you'll burn somebody alive with one of those things.
Yeah.
So it kind of backed them off of Bryan Danielson so he could regain composure, and it ended up just being an all-out brawl. Really, really awesome episode of AEW Dynamite, guys. I'm excited for Double or Nothing this weekend on Sunday night, and that is going to be it for the Dynamite portion of the show. We appreciate you rocking with us, and now that we have some time, we're going to go to a little bit of open discussion mode, guys, and we usually prepare all the questions. Mike usually prepares all the questions, and today we actually have some good friends of ours that have sent in some questions. So we have questions that Mike has prepared, and we also have questions from our good friends And we're going to jump right on into that, guys. So let us talk to you. It's the Source Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
Now we have some topics. First one's by Zeus Creighton.
Yes, sir. Our good friend Zeus has
wants to know
wrote into us.
The top 5 wrestlers who deserve to be the WWE champion.
Who
but
never were.
And it looks like he put his choices down.
No, these are mine.
Oh, these are yours.
These are mine.
Okay.
Yep, he just sent us in this question. And Zeus, we appreciate you, buddy, because I love answering questions of other wrestling fans who are well-versed in the topic. So top 5 wrestlers for me who deserve to be WWE champion but never were. We're going to go from number 5 to number 1. 5 being the Rocky Mountain Monster, Vader. Why did he not have a title run at his peak? He was awesome. He had the look. The guy could move. One of the first big guys to do moonsaults. And
I thought he did, no?
No, he did not have a world title run in WWE. Damn. So he deserved it, right? See, you thought he had one. That speaks volumes to me. Number 4, Rowdy Roddy Piper. Why did this man, of all people, never have the WWE Championship around his waist? He had nice Intercontinental runs, yes, but a legend like Rowdy Roddy Piper, just when you think you have the answers, he changed the questions. He should have had a WWE title run 100%. And number 3 on my top 5 would be Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. The guy was nothing less than perfect in the ring. Big prankster backstage is what I hear. And the guy had the moves. He had the promo ability. He had everything to back it up. He could go in there with top guys like Bret Hart and have 10 out of 10 bangers. That would be 5-star matches, nowadays. Mr. Perfect is number 3 for who I thought should have had a WWE title. Number 2 is going to be Jake the Snake Roberts. This guy was one of the most over wrestlers of his time. He was not there long. He had a short time, and his run was incredible. And this guy was wrestling Hogan, and making Hogan look good all the time. Jake the Snake, unfortunately, was his own worst enemy with all the drug abuse and addiction, and that's a big reason why he did not win a title. We do not have to ask why he was never WWE champion. But Jake the Snake Roberts, I think, deserved it for the promo ability. He didn't have to yell and scream like Warrior and Macho. He just kind of talked to you. He'd say, listen, man, this is how I'm going to beat you. And trust me. Jake the Snake, number 2. And number 1 on my list, this question from Zeus, thanks again. Number 1 on my list will be the bad guy, Razor Ramon. It is a sin that he did not hold the WWE Championship during his Razor Ramon days. He was a multiple-time Intercontinental Champion, yes. He had top guy ability, top guy mic skills, top guy moves, top guy look. He was oozing machismo, man. Number 1 on my list is Razor Ramon, and you're not going to change my mind, brothers. You're just not.
I got pretty good number 1 myself.
Nice. Let's go. I can't wait to hear your perspective on this.
Okay, so number 5, we'll go bottom to top like you.
Yeah,
okay?
I feel like that's
number
the best
5
way.
Would be Razor Ramon.
Okay, at least he's on your list. I'm happy about that.
He's my number 5. He had a great Intercontinental run.
Absolutely.
He did a lot for us. I mean, I'm not too sad about the fact that he didn't get the title, but it would have been cool, I guess.
I think
but
he deserved
it. Didn't
it,
get to that point. They just, it ended.
By the time he got
game.
to that point, he left for WCW and chased the money.
Number 4 is Bam Bam Bigelow.
Ooh, okay. You know what? I'm going to agree. Bam Bam, just like Vader in my list, was another one of these guys who wasn't
Gotta
really...
figure they were also in an era where people like Hulk Hogan held the title for years. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't a chance.
These guys didn't even get a chance
there wasn't
to
2 titles
scratch
to get
the...
either.
I know,
You know what I mean?
I know. There was no World
Yeah.
Championship. There was no... It was just the WWF Championship at the time.
Number 3, another person you didn't list, Lex Luger.
Oh, the total package,
very
the
interesting
narcissist.
that he never won the World Championship.
Very
either.
interesting as well, because he had it all. That guy had it all.
Another Hulk Hogan casualty, maybe.
Yeah. That's not going to work for me, brother.
The number 2 would definitely be Roddy Piper.
Fair.
He
needs to be on that
weird
list.
that he did never won. He's one of the all-time greatest wrestlers. And,
MJF's favorite wrestler of all time.
Even in his early days, he had some...
He had amazing
some
matches
with Bret Hart and
Mr.
stuff.
T.
Yeah.
I mean, you get in the ring with Mr. T. Like, you got to be a tough bastard.
Number 1, I have somebody else that you didn't even list, and I'm shocked. Okay, I'm shocked.
Okay.
Dusty Rhodes.
The number
My
one.
God,
That's
yeah,
the number
that's
one.
what the whole story's
That's
about.
the number
man.
one.
You know, he would be
Dusty Rhodes is the biggest.
for me. I'll break it down to you, baby.
He held it for a minute, but it didn't count.
Dusty
so.
Rhodes, 150% honorable mention in my book. He did hold an NWA World Championship, which I think was enough for him, but he deserved a WWF title run, a WWF at the time, yes.
So I guess that leads the question to the viewer, listener, if you will, Zeus. Who do you think's who do you think deserved it more?
Yeah, is there
Dusty
anyone?
Rhodes or Razor Ramon?
Yeah.
His top
My
or
number
top?
one versus
Dusty
your number
Rhodes
one.
Or Razor
Is it the
Ramon?
American Dream, baby, or
Who
is it the
deserved
bad
a
guy?
title run more? That's
Yes,
the question.
that's our question to you now, Zeus. And
Now,
we
have
got
our
another one, right?
Top 5 favorite matches,
Yes.
if you want to take it.
Yes, this was a question sent in by our great friend, our brother Evil Rob. Shout out Evil Rob. My top 5 favorite matches, and this was right off the top of my head. I didn't think about it too much. We're gonna go 5-1. Number 5, and I don't care if this shocks you guys. This is where I'm at mentally right now. Number 5 is gonna be Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania 40. All right.
Okay.
Do I have any objections?
No.
I think that's all time for me. Number 5. I'm comfortable there. The cinematics of the match, the year-long build-up, the 2-year build-up, really. That's going number 5 for me. And number 4 for my favorite matches of all time is going to be The Undertaker versus Kane for the first time at WrestleMania 14 in Boston. That is number 4 for me. That was the first time they faced off, and it was so special to me. I was so invested in that storyline as a kid. Paul Bearer introducing Kane and how his parents were burned alive, and he's the brother of The Undertaker. And this is the first time they meet in an official match after him debuting at Bad Blood 97. So number 4 is going to be Taker versus Kane, WrestleMania 14. Number 3 on my list of top 5 favorite matches is going to be Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania 38, Austin's first match in 19 years. And that match, I fell in love with it. I felt like a little kid when I was watching it. Even the build-up to it, when he was, it was never an announced match. It was supposed to be just the KO show. So, the fact that he had his last match in Texas, where it all started, rides off into the sunset with a win against KO, took hella bumps. That's number 3 for me. Number 2 on my top 5 favorite matches list is going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin once again versus the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14 in Boston. His first ever world title win. That match made my childhood. I remember the build-up leading up to it. The odds were stacked against Austin with enforcer Mike Tyson and Degeneration X. It all got done. It all got dealt with. That's number 2, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus HBK, WrestleMania 14. And now, guys, for my number 1 favorite match of all time, I can't say that I would put any other match above this one. It is the Hell in a Cell 98, Undertaker versus Mankind, which speaks for itself. Foley was thrown off the top of the cell. He then climbed back up, went through the cell. The thumbtacks, the blood, the chairs, the tombstones, the mandible claws. That match had everything. You thought that Mick Foley had passed away many times during this match, and what I was told, what I read over the years, is that after this match happened, Foley gets backstage and he sees Vince, and he goes, Vince told him, "Don't you ever think about doing anything like that ever again." So that's my top 5 favorite matches, guys. Number 1, Hell in a Cell 98, Taker versus Mankind. Let me talk to you.
Now, top 5 matches for me, very similar to yours in certain ways.
Let's
Also,
go.
wildly different.
Okay. Just like our top 5 on this last question.
We're going to align. I'm going to say Cody versus Roman was in the top 5, probably number
All
5
day.
for me.
All day.
But number 4 is a match you didn't mention. It's WrestleMania 17.
Okay.
We're talking Hardys versus Dudleys versus Christian
TLC.
and Edge.
Yeah.
The TLC 2 match, actually.
Yes, TLC 2 was the greatest TLC, or one of the greatest matches of all
one of the
time.
most entertaining matches I've ever seen in my life. So,
Yeah, people have been trying to
it's gotta be on
replicate
my
it
list.
since. People have seriously tried to replicate it ever since.
Number 3 would be Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 3.
That has to be there. That
Yeah,
has to be
that's
there.
one of the greatest matches of all time.
I'd probably, if I was going top 6, that would be number 6. I just
Okay.
feel like these other ones, they just grabbed me more.
Yeah.
But obviously, I just watched Hogan versus Andre yesterday with my kid. You know what I mean? It's a timeless match. It's the reason that wrestling is what it is today.
It is.
It deserves to be there.
It does,
150%.
Now, number 2, you had this as well, Austin versus Michaels.
Oh, of course.
It's
It's one of the
WrestleMania
greatest
14,
of all
I
time.
believe.
Yes.
This is with
In
Mike
Boston.
Tyson as the guest referee.
Special guest enforcer.
And
I don't think necessarily that this might be the biggest match for everybody in the world.
For
it was
me,
big
it
for
was.
me and you.
Yeah. We were
I was at a certain
coming
age
up.
where it meant a lot to me.
Me
and
too.
I was there. I was
Yep.
at the show.
You were at the show.
I
I was sitting at home with my mom and dad. Just felt like I was there, dude. You know what I
It
mean?
was
I
just
was
really,
so
really
excited
cool, yeah.
when Tyson's hand hit the mat for the 3 and Austin held the championship. It was like, finally, we got what we wanted.
Yeah, and then we had my number 1 match of all time is definitely Undertaker versus Mankind, Hell in a Cell.
You can't go any other match, brother.
Yeah, that's
You know,
the number
that
1
match,
for me. That's the
me
most
too.
legendary, iconic match
It
of
is.
all time.
It is. It really
And throwing
is.
him off the cage into the table
Yeah,
was the most iconic moment in WWE history.
To be in Pittsburgh that night, I envy it. I wish I was there. Just that the spectacle of that match. And what sucked is Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kane had to follow that up in a First Blood match in the main event, and it just it didn't happen. It was very overshadowed by that match.
There's no way you can top that one, man.
No.
This next question is from Natasha.
Yes.
Natasha Rachel, as I call her.
Let's go.
Now, this one
DSM
I'll answer
Vivids.
first, okay?
This is the easiest question I've ever been asked in my life as a wrestling fan.
Same here, because I
If
want
you
to see
could
what
bring-
your answer is.
It's going to
though.
be what you're going to say.
Let's
if
see.
you could bring back any wrestler, who would it be and why? Bray Wyatt, because he was just in the prime of his
Thank
freaking
you.
career, and there's
Thank
so much
you.
more to see. I can't think of
Thank
any
you.
other wrestler
Thank you.
that I'd
I
want to
can
bring
think-
back than him, and
Let's
to see
do
what
this.
the hell his storylines
Yeah.
would have been after he was just set to come
Yes.
back.
Yes,
it
and
was the
now-
ultimate dick tease ever.
It was.
You know
It
what I
was,
mean?
man.
Like-
And now, Bray Wyatt's my answer
We're
as
on
well.
accord. Me and
Yes.
Joe, this is a unified answer.
But listen,
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt is my answer as well. He's number 1. But
The
if I had
Fiend.
a chance at 2, if I could bring 2 back, and on all days, 5/23/24, it is the anniversary of Owen Hart's death today. Okay, at Over the Edge 99, I would bring back Owen too, because that guy never got to see his full potential as a superstar. He sadly passed away in an accident at Over the Edge 99. I think if we brought back Bray Wyatt and Owen Hart, it would change wrestling history for sure. So obviously I'm going Bray Wyatt here. But if I could pick 2, man, I would pick Owen, because that was.
we're going number 2. My number 2 is Luke Harper.
Brody Lee, yes, perfect. This is a
Yep.
great question. These wrestlers are
I'd bring
more,
them both back.
These wrestlers
And
were
I'd-
more than just wrestlers, man.
Yeah.
Brody Lee, we miss you. Owen Hart, everybody misses you. Bray Wyatt, man, there's not even a word I could say on how lucky I feel to have seen Bray Wyatt live after the return on an episode of Smackdown live in person with my kid. So that's a really great question. We're going Bray Wyatt. We're going Owen Hart. Which is the anniversary is today, 5/23. You guys are going to be hearing this tomorrow. So in honorable mention, Brody Lee / Luke Harper, John Huber. We would bring him back as well.
Now, next question up comes from Dave Barrett.
What up, what up?
It's if Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit were still alive, where do you think they'd be? I'm going to let you do this one because
Okay.
my answer is retired. I think they'd be really
But,
old by now.
yeah,
and
I mean,
don't
you never know.
where they would be. Maybe retired and in the Hall of Fame.
Definitely.
Is Eddie in the Hall of Fame?
Eddie is in the Hall of Fame,
Okay, so
absolutely.
both of them would be in the Hall of Fame together.
If Benoit did not do
yeah.
what he did,
His
that
legacy
name
would
is
be
very
better.
tainted. His legacy is very tainted. As a wrestler, you have to respect the product that he put out, over the years. But if that did not happen, everything with Daniel and Nancy, if he did not do what he did, I say Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero ride off into the sunset together. They were best friends. They had their world title runs together before both of their lives tragically ended. I would say they'd probably be, coaching young talent maybe in NXT, like Michaels does, and all these guys do. I could see Eddie doing that. Because he loved to just give back to the world of wrestling, and Benoit, can't really say much here. Sadistic actions, which may have been linked to CTE and brain trauma from all the years of body abuse. That's where I'm at with this question, Dave. Thanks for it. Two of my favorite wrestlers of all time before Chris Benoit did what he did. I respect his in-ring work, but that's where it stops. The real person, got what was coming to him. Eddie, on the other hand, I miss terribly. I still wish he was around today. Imagine Eddie Guerrero in a feud with Dominic Mysterio. Just imagine that, guys, for a second. And unfortunately, we'll never get to see it.
Next up, I want to talk about these QR codes we keep seeing all over the WWE Network.
Yes.
The latest video, I'm going to read what it says. It's flashing messages, and this is what the messages say. They say, hello. Can you ever truly be free? Have you... Oh, it's going really fast. Jeez.
Yeah.
Can you ever truly be free? Have you lost your way? Did you find your way back? Do you want to feel better? Do you know that I'm proud of you? Is love unconditional? Have they been set free? Do you believe? Do you want to meet them soon? Yeah. And then it says Wendy Lucho again. Okay, Wendy Lucho.
That is an anagram for Uncle Howdy.
Yeah, you can redo those letters and
it's Uncle Howdy.
You can rearrange them to do Uncle Howdy. But also, this Wendy Lucho character they keep seeing
is a
therapist,
right? Yes.
And it's the same lady in the pictures that when the Fiend was seeing a therapist.
Yes,
the
exactly.
same lady,
exactly.
And supposedly, right now, they're saying she's missing.
Yes, there's like these milk carton ads, basically. This person was last seen, so on and so forth. They're saying she's missing. Like, they're getting really, really cryptic with this stuff, with the whole Wendy Lucho, whatever, however you say it, being scrambled into Uncle Howdy, and now she's also the therapist that the Fiend Bray Wyatt was seeing. So it tells you that this is a Wyatt family coming.
And next, you see there's a little article that pops up on the screen that says, study sees negative results. In 1965, a cruel and evil experiment was tested on Josie Lores and Antoine Seni. It still happens. There were others, but I saved them. The darkness wants you to believe it is everything, but it is not. I pulled them out and I gave them purpose. I don't say this with pride. I say this with gratitude. How precious to be chosen to bring forth. I've said too much. Give me a little more time. Others think they are the catalyst. I must give them the opportunity to repent. I hope for their sake they do. And then,
where are they going with this?
If we rearrange these other names, I wonder if we get some answers as well.
It is very possible they could be anagrams for other things. The QR codes are still popping in on the regular, and they're still leaving us stumped sometimes. Sometimes we think we got it figured out. We have to know that the Wyatt Six is coming, and if that's what they decide to call it, that's what Bray's vision has lined up to be. So we can only wait and see.
So all you can do. Now, next up, we want to talk about something. We had a quick little interaction in the hallway between LA Knight and Logan Paul. Is this setting up a Logan Paul versus LA Knight match at the next pay-per-view after King of the Ring? And would that mean that Logan Paul is actually going to fight 2 pay-per-views in a row?
I know, right? Is he going to be that fighting champion? He's now on 200-plus days as we're speaking to you.
He doesn't even defend on regular TV.
No, he does not. And LA Knight would be the guy. We've been talking about this on the show for months now. They finally planted the seed. They had an altercation backstage on Smackdown, and they bumped into each other outside of the locker room area.
Really, and a smirk by LA Knight.
What's up, champ?
Really.
Yeah, that's just enough to plant the seed. So I say they definitely have to get that feud going 100%. Get the title off Logan and give it to our guy, man, LA Knight.
Yeah, that'd be a great championship for him. We've been saying it on this show for a long time.
Yes.
I'm worried about it because I know that Logan Paul has his teeth sunk really deep
He
into
does.
WWE right now. And I know that really I couldn't really see him being in the WWE if he wasn't a champion, or where he would fit in. You know what I mean? I feel like that being the championship is keeping him in the
It's
league.
keeping him,
and barely.
Yeah.
We're barely seeing him anyway. So, we'll see what happens. But I really do
Yeah.
hope that LA Knight gets the title.
Me too. Deserves
I
it, man.
think personally, Logan Paul is great. He could
He
use
is.
a break.
He could definitely use a break.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
100%.
And then come back fresh. And
He's
whatever. But
he's been a good heel champion. I think he's coming into his own. I think he's still got a long way to go, and nowhere but up to go. Because in his short tenure of matches, he's putting on bangers. He's doing impressive stuff. I think he looks good out there. But get the title off him, slap it on the guy,
if they
the
drop
megastar.
the title, do they stay in the same? They stay on SmackDown or whatever?
Yeah. Unless there's some kind of trade done or something like that, some kind of free agent signing.
Makes sense.
But he will stay on the show, and we really think that should happen, though.
Yeah. No, we're watching AEW a lot there, boys.
Yes.
And we're saying, will Adam Copeland get any help against the House of Black? That's the question.
Yes, which is very interesting.
We've
because
seen him going it alone.
We
really,
have.
You know what I mean?
Yep, Copeland has been going in alone. He had the whole Cope Open where he faced every single House of Black member.
But now you have this match that has no rules.
Yes,
and this
it
and
is
that.
a
The other
barbed
members
wire
could definitely get
steel
in,
cage.
Yeah, the other members could definitely get involved.
They absolutely
somehow,
can,
you know?
and I think they absolutely will. This could be a really, really good time for Copeland to bring in some old friends, some reinforcements, meaning some Brood members. They tried. Adam Copeland himself pitched Gangrel for his WrestleMania entrance, his Brood Edge entrance, and everyone shut it down. They said no one remembers. We talked about this, I believe, and people remember. People want to see Gangrel come out with Edge through the fire and flames, and maybe even get his old buddy Christian, who is just so happens to be in AEW. Their rivalry's over now. They can go back to being brothers. And if Edge can bring back the Brood to fight off the House of Black, I think there would be no better way of reinforcements than that. I guess we have to wait and see. I would like to see that happen, though, especially because Gangrel did not get, his WrestleMania return like Copeland wanted. I think Tony Khan will absolutely go for it. If Christian can just put the heel persona aside just for this moment, to have the three of them rise up through the flames and have Gangrel drink from the chalice and spit out that blood one last time. I'd really like to see it. I'd really like to see it.
It would be cool. It'd be cool. They got to do something with Adam Copeland. It's getting stale for me, and I just feel like things go stale fast in AEW. And it's come on, we got to do something here.
And I think that's why they're turning him dark right now, because and it kind of works because he's going against Malachi and the House of Black. He's got to go to a dark place, and it seems like whenever Copeland goes to a dark place, it's that Brood Edge.
Yeah, but Malachi Black needs a title run, so we're kind of hoping he grabs the title.
Yeah, I think he's going to grab the TNT title off of Cope here. I really do.
So next up, we're going to talk about MJF and news about him that we're hearing. All I'm going to say is there is about 15 articles online right now that says that he is due back very, very soon. All the ties are Fightful, our best source, is talking about it. He is coming back, and it's going to be soon, and it's going to be AEW. Pretty certain about that.
Yeah,
right
all signs are pointing to that, confirming that Max was in Boston at Big Business, to sign on the dotted line. And they're saying it could happen by Forbidden Door, which is June 30th, 2024.
Hold that thought, because I want to go over 3 different ways that MJF, I'm reading an article, 3 different ways that MJF could return to AEW.
Fair.
This is the first way he could return.
Okay.
Just coming straight up for a rematch for the AEW World Championship against Swerve Strickland.
Yep. He can just insert himself right into the picture, and especially as heel MJF. You know what I mean? He can come back and say, "Oh, you know what? Being nice to all you guys was no good. Look where it got me. I lost the Triple B, the Big Burberry belt, as he called it, and that would be a firecracker of a rivalry."
Now, the other way that we could see him coming back would be the continuation of the Devil storyline. He comes back as
he's
the Devil.
The real Devil, yes.
Yeah, it's the real Devil with his own henchmen, and starts a whole thing there. with Adam Cole and them, and that will revive that whole Adam Cole.
Yes.
Or maybe they thought he'd be back by now, and that's
and
why
it's just
been
not
awkward,
happening.
what
They
I
want to
mean?
bring back Better Than You,
And then
baby.
maybe
But listen to this, Mike. Forbidden Door is going to be held in none other than Long Island, New York.
Yeah, I heard
home
that, yeah.
of Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
But there's a third way we can see him come back, and this is the most exciting, okay?
Okay.
Because this could be this weekend. There's a third way
at
he
Double
could
or Nothing.
And MJF could return and join Team AEW.
Oh, wow.
In the anarchy of the arena match.
They need
in
backup.
Double
they
or
need
Nothing.
backup. Yes, that would be great.
So we might see,
Oh,
and
my
with
God.
all the articles coming out today, today and yesterday, all articles are saying MJF is. The rumors are that the overall rumor today
Is that he's back
that's hitting
soon.
Is that oh my God, we're hearing he's coming back very soon.
And it's AEW, of course,
So Sunday is
very soon. And Tony Khan has liked to do these things like this with no warning and, just no Easter eggs, nothing. And if they bring Max back this weekend, I will pop out of my chair and I will probably pop for a week straight because he's Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He's better than you and you know it.
Consider me invested in AEW again when that happens.
Absolutely. That would be the show to watch. No questions asked because of MJF here, guys. I think that's all we got for MJF news.
That's it. That's all we got. That's
absolutely.
good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Every time I look, there's news. You know what I mean? He's a hot topic.
He is a very hot topic. Once again, guys, you're listening to the Source Wrestling Podcast. This is a big episode for us. It's episode 40. We gave you This Week in Wrestling. We hit you with some open discussion, battle royal type questions. We had questions submitted from some of our good friends out there.
Just hit an hour seconds ago.
We did. And God, I feel like I could talk for 3 more hours about wrestling today. But before we go, this is episode 40, man. And it's a very special day. We're going to give you some On This Day in Wrestling History. Let us talk to you.
Now we have our notable wrestling birthdays in wrestling history.
Let's go.
We have Yoshihashi. 1982.
Nice.
We have Alberto Del Rio.
Yes.
A former WWE champion.
Former WWE champion, winner of the only 40-man Royal Rumble in Boston, and I was there live to witness it. I was very upset that he was the winner because I always did not like
Joe,
him.
the whole world was upset.
Yes, they were.
1977, El Messias.
El Messias?
ELMESIAS.
El Messias. El Messias.
1976, I'm guessing Luchador.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then June Byers back in 1922, so old WWF
old
superstar.
School.
And that's cool. That's our wrestling birthdays today.
Yes.
And let me just hit this day in wrestling history. We have Vincent James McMahon, a.k.a. Vince McMahon Sr., died as a result of pancreatic cancer in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at the age of 69.
Yeah, and we have him to thank for the WWF because if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't have had Vince McMahon Jr.
Yeah,
and
so maybe they should replace all of Vince McMahon Jr.'s pictures with Vince
with
McMahon
Senior
because he never did anything wrong.
He never did anything.
He's the real. He's the real guy to praise.
Yeah,
right?
he created the Worldwide Wrestling Federation.
They should make a statue with him on.
Yes, absolutely. And on this day in wrestling history, on a somber note, it is 1999.
Somber note. We were just somber.
I know, this is an even more somber note. On this day in 1999, on this day in wrestling history, the day after his tragic death during the Over the Edge pay-per-view, WWE presented the special Monday Night Raw titled Raw is Owen. Dedicated to Owen Hart's memory, the show featured a number of non-storyline bouts, but was built around tributes and stories from Owen's friends and colleagues. It was a tough episode to watch. I remember it very vividly and clearly, and that happened on this day in wrestling history.
On this day in wrestling history in 2010, on an episode of Raw in Toledo, Ohio, R-Truth became the new WWE United States champion the expense of The Miz.
No way. Oh, that happened on this day in wrestling history?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God. Yeah, look at them now. Awesome Truth, the World Tag Team Champions. Wow. Obviously, it wasn't always that way. For The Miz and R-Truth. And on this day in wrestling history, the year is 1984. I wasn't even alive yet brothers. I don't think you were either yet, Mike, right? 84?
I was being conceived.
Ah, nice. I like it. So they knew what they were doing at that time.
Born in 1985.
The NWA.
Might have been in the oven. I don't know.
Yeah, right? He was baking. The NWA World Heavyweight Championship changed hands in Yokosuka, Japan, where Ric Flair defeated Kerry Von Erich in a 2 out of 3 falls match for that title. It's one of Ric Flair's 16 times championship reigns and matches, and that happened on this day in wrestling history, guys.
And on this day in wrestling history in 1973, I definitely wasn't born.
Same.
The second longest
Wasn't even a
NWA World Heavyweight Championship run in history came to an end in Kansas City, Missouri, when Harley Race defeated Dory Funk Jr. to end the champion's 1,563-day stint with the title.
Oh,
big
my
news.
God.
Big one.
That is a big one, and that happened as well on this day in wrestling history, guys. And that's going to wrap it up, man. We thank everybody for their questions. We thank everybody for continuing to listen to the show as we continue to evolve and change the questions, if you will. And this is the Source Wrestling Podcast. We're available on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. You can follow us on X, Instagram, TikTok. You will find us wherever your social media boat may float. Once again, you're listening to The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling Podcast with none other than Joe
and
Mike. Yeah. And next time we will talk to you. So let us talk to you next time on the Source Wrestling Podcast, guys, until we yeet again.
Let us talk to you.
We'll talk to you. Peace.